Do you know that feeling when you move to a new country and you actually have to start anew from scratch? Well, you might not, but my guest today, Isidora, does. Join us in this amazing episode. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Pink Nest podcast. Today I'm joined finally by somebody who is rooted in Balkans like myself. And her story will definitely resonate with anyone who has started over in a new place or in a new job. Isidora, hi. She
Hello.
spent 10 years living, studying, and working in Belgrade before moving to Brussels 3 years ago. So we're going to dive deep into how it is like to be a little bit of a stranger in a very new country.
Yeah. And not just that, I was also in Estonia for 1 semester. So I did move a lot.
Yeah, and that's actually great, I think, at least
Yeah.
from personal standpoint of view. All right, so we usually start with where it all started, childhood. So how was Isidora as a child? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, as a child, I was quite a free spirit. I grew up in a small town, very nice, very cocooned, settled, safe. It was a very very nice childhood, and on the same time, I grew up watching German TV, which was basically Disney and anime dubbed in German. So even though I was in this small little town, very nice and cozy, I was influenced by so many other cultures. And I believe that kind of gave me this wanderlust to explore a little bit more and to go out and see what's out there and not just see it through the screen. So very early on, I had big dreams and I knew where I wanted to go. I didn't know I was going to end up in Brussels, but I knew I wanted to go somewhere.
I think that that's not, I mean, for those that grew up in the Balkans, it's not very common, right? We are like more like a nesting type of people. It's not very common to move countries a lot. I mean, okay, except for the seasonal workers and things, but I think it's more like we like staying where we are. We're not really travelers, I would say, isn't it so?
Yes, that is exactly true. There are people who would go, but then they would come back either for, as you said, seasonal workers, or they would retire and then come back. It is always you have this home base and you don't really leave it, or you just move from your parents' house to in the same city, but in a different building or in a different house. But yeah, it's cute. It's very nice and safe and cozy. But for me, the wilderness was more important.
How do you think your upbringing in Serbia influenced your sense of identity, but also confidence in a way, as you stepped into adulthood and, yeah, eventually moved to Brussels?
um, Growing up, it's been I would say normal for me, because obviously that's what everybody is gonna tell you. But I realized when I moved how much different I was. I think I was a little bit more resilient because I had to go through all of these blockades, that cultural blockades of wanting to move and explaining to, not my parents, for example, they were very understanding, but just the rest of the city that it's not that I don't like you guys. I just want so much more, and you can't have everything in one place. So it made me very, very tough, I would say, from the very beginning, because I was a bit different. And I think I learned it the first time when I went to Estonia, because that was my first time speaking not with Serbians. And we would also go to Croatia for summers or to Montenegro, and I would be in the Balkan area, but that was the first time where I had on my Erasmus with so many different cultures. And you realize you grow, but you also realize what you brought from home.
Yeah. So you studied business economics in Serbia, right?
Yes.
And
So
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that's how it started, you know.
And now you're
Yes.
working in marketing, right?
Exactly. I moved a little bit, but it's still very close. Yes, I started business economics. I thought I was going to end up there, but then during my master's, it was COVID. And one of our most influential professors was actually, I mean, most influential for us as students was the professor of digital marketing. That was just one class that we had. And this, coupled with the fact that it was COVID, led me to apply for digital marketing jobs. That was the go-to area because that's where the jobs were still existing. So that's how I kind of ended up in marketing. And then when I came to Brussels, I didn't really want to do digital marketing. I wanted to I didn't have an office. So I wanted to have a job with an office. And that's how I ventured out into other forms of marketing. In the end, I was the account manager in two companies here. And now I made this small switch into project management, which is I work for an association. I'm not really doing marketing. I'm more organizing the working groups. So it's similar in day to day, but it's very much far away from business that I initially studied.
Yeah, it has this human impact as well, right? It's like humans are involved much more than in economics.
Exactly. Yeah.
What was the biggest cultural shock for you coming to Brussels? I mean, Belgium is it is a little bit specific, in a way.
It's specific. I got lucky. I really have to say I got lucky because I moved here to live with my then boyfriend, now husband. So there was not much of a cultural shock because I was already visiting him for like a week or a month, depending on the time. So there was not much of a cultural shock because I knew what I was getting into. There was a shock when I moved and when I started working, the way that I realized how some things that and you don't know how you know them, but you just know them. You know, you grew up, or I lived in Belgrade for 10 years and I was listening to people. I was seeing how other people do it. So all of these things of how to set up your health insurance, how to resolve problems at work. They come natural to you because you've been living in this place for so long. And now I was barely a year there, and I had to, figure it out all by myself. And I realized that all of these things that you take for granted, they mean so much. So
Yeah.
not such
Can you?
so shocking as in I don't know, some I met weird people. No, I was very lucky to be surrounded by very nice people, but that didn't change the fact that I had to start from zero.
Yeah, that is the thing. It was the same for me when I moved to Austria way back. You are, in a way, you are made. Yeah, they. It is obvious that you're a foreigner and you are
Mhm.
starting from scratch while everybody else doesn't or isn't.
Yeah.
So it is challenge. It is challenging in a way. I mean, it
Yeah.
is rewarding, but it's also challenging for sure.
When you go through it at the end now, it's like, okay, it's fine. It's just part of life. And, especially here in Brussels, there's so many foreigners that you end up meeting people who had to go through the same things. And then you stick with them because they had the same problems and you kind of bond through these same experiences. And in the end, you create your own little nest, your own little foundation that you can then build on your life, like I've done in Belgrade for when I moved 2013 there.
Mm. Yeah. You mentioned when we talked that having a diploma and experience wasn't enough when you moved. What did you discover you needed beyond just a degree? I'm curious about that.
Yes, it wasn't just that I, couldn't find a job. I also kind of challenged myself to change from digital to something not basically not digital. So the struggle was there out of two reasons. I moved to a city where I don't know the language, and I would also like to find a job somewhere where I don't yet have exact experience from. It was similar, but not the same. So I had to learn to sell myself very well, to show, these qualities that you take for granted because they're just part of you. But then when you have to explain to an HR why you are the best person, even though you know nothing about the city, you know nothing about the culture, some would even say I didn't even know how to do the job, and then I would have to prove to them that I bring more value by being different than being safe.
Yeah, those are definitely experiences only people who move to another country will understand.
Yeah.
Particularly the language barrier. Yeah, I mean Brussels. For those who don't know, it's a European Parliament city, so there is a lot of foreigners there, for sure. But still, I think that it's not very common to find an English-speaking job. Um, and this definitely brings certain disadvantage to a point. It was the same for me in Austria. I mean, I
Mm.
did get a lot of jobs within international companies, which was definitely a big plus for me. However, it
Yes.
was it was expected, and after a certain time, to learn the language and to speak, particularly on internal meetings, in German language, which I did at the end. But still, it was another layer of I'm not going to say pressure, but it is just, more challenging. You're not native speaker. And I usually joke that my German will never be as good as English. I mean, it's not a joke. It's definitely. And I feel just way more comfortable speaking in
Mhm.
English, particularly when it comes to business, because, I just don't have enough depth in the language. I probably never will, for sure.
Exactly. And it is the same with me and French. I'm learning French, but actually, both of the jobs that I had here in Brussels have basically I got them because I speak German and they needed somebody who speaks German. And I was like, well, sure,
Yeah.
why not? In the end,
Yeah.
we ended up speaking English nonstop, but knowing the language is very, very important. This is why I'm also still learning French.
It's
I guess
challenging,
I'll
isn't
be
it?
just like you. Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine. um, you've shared also some experiences inside your jobs, and some difficulties as well. How do you think these situations affected you in a way? But they also, I guess, teach you a few things, particularly about leadership and boundaries, didn't they?
Yes, they did. It's, everybody will have certain points when they will struggle. I got this. Maybe it's because I was new, and I didn't know these unwritten rules that I just mentioned that you would know if you lived in the city for a longer time. Um, but I had a couple of struggles with mostly the types of companies. Like there's a different culture that you come into, different expectations. I got this feeling, especially in my first job, that you're there to basically just be the third hand of the company or of your boss. And it was quite difficult for me to communicate um, m- my expectations, while there was not that much room for discussion. It was more, you just go there, you work, and don't ask
Don't
questions.
don't think too much.
Don't think. No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Don't think. You're good. Just do your job and don't think. And this is really against everything that anybody who had to move countries went through, because we had to push, we had to ask questions, we had to be this resilient type of yourself to make it. Otherwise, we would have stayed, and it would have probably been fine if we stayed there as well. But we wouldn't be these persons that we are now. And then you come into a new country where, let's be honest, people are used to, they are the ones who stayed, so they're used to people like them, and not like somebody who's going to come and like a bulldozer and ask so many questions and be like, okay, but I have this dream and I'm going towards this dream. And they're like, no, 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 no. No,
Can you
just
explain this,
stay
please?
down.
So the questions like, can you explain this? Can you share more about this? No, no, don't ask questions.
No, no, just do as you've been told.
But what really helped you? Did you have some strategies that helped you stay resilient during these moments? Because I know myself. I mean, for myself, it was really challenging, particularly from the beginning. I think this stepping away from the family and just being alone. I mean, eventually you do find your own people there as well, but still, at the beginning, it is very challenging, and particularly you find a lot of these internal struggles just because of different working styles. Obviously, the language, city, everything is there, everything is new, and it is a lot to process. So, what helped you stay resilient during this moment when you felt like things are not very fair or are discouraging for you?
Well, in the private life, I had a clear goal. You know, I wanted to make my life there, not to start from where when I moved in. I think it was the 1st of November when I came to Brussels. It was quite, let's say, easy, as in natural. You know, you're creating your own standpoint here in this new city. On the business side, it was much different. There were some things that I didn't know, and when I would have struggles, I wouldn't know how to solve them, because the way we solve it back in Serbia or back in Bosnia, it's different than how you solve it here, and also the options that you have are different. For example, I didn't know that you could you could go on burnout. So when I was in a very bad place and crying and not sleeping and really, you know, being gaslit by your subordinates, I didn't. My idea was, well, you know, you have to push through it. You do what you've done always. You just go forward. You have to find a solution. While now I could say, I didn't know. Again, I didn't know. In Serbia, we don't have that. You don't go to the doctor and say, look, I tick all these boxes, like, please help me. In Serbia, we just, you either stay in the situation and then you don't move, or you do something about it. And that's not something I knew when I was here. That is something I had to learn the hard way.
And you think that this is also maybe a little bit because we are, after all, a little bit more, like you said, more, I'm not going to say close because we are quite open in the Balkans, but still we are used to solve our own problems on our own, isn't it so?
You
We are
have
not
to.
really the ones, we are not really the ones to walk around and ask questions like, okay, I feel really bad, I can't sleep, I can't eat. I think I just Googled it and I think I'm approaching burnout. What can I do? It's not really common, is it?
Yeah,
Still not.
it's not. Yes, I mean, it's really, there's this stereotype that in the Balkans and Eastern Europe, like, depression doesn't exist, and it's not really like that. But it's still not a place where you could have mechanisms to kind of get to the bottom of how you're feeling. You have to do it yourself. There's no mechanisms in place to help you. There's your family, your support group. That's something that you can create on your own, but really formalized, no. So I was always going in this way, you know, I'm gonna solve it myself. There's
Mm.
nothing else that there can be done. You don't even search for an answer because you're not used to that there is an answer. Now I know. Now I'm very happy to know that here in Belgium, and I guess in the EU in general, you have so many different support systems, which is amazing.
I think this will change or is changing very slowly, but still changing in the Balkans as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some momentum going there as well, but I think, yeah, this is just this little tiny cultural shift or difference. I would say it takes a generation to switch. It's not going to happen because I said it also in one of my previous podcasts that I can guarantee that when I was growing up, a lot of my schoolmates' parents had definitely mental health issues. They were, most of them probably also burnout and so on. But nobody spoke about that. It was just complete stigma about this. Even when things went so bad that somebody got the diagnosis, I don't know. I remember a few neighbors with a diagnosis, and I mean, not the burnout, but more serious mental health issues. Everybody was just like, hush, hush, we don't talk about that. We all knew, but it was,
Yeah.
complete silent treatment, really. But okay, I think we were moving somewhere, even in the Balkans. But I'm really
Yes.
glad that, yeah.
Awareness is there, and now that we have the word, again, just thinking from my side, I didn't even know about the word of burnout while living here, and I didn't even know what to search for. So when you put a name to it, you automatically raise awareness about it. And so I think it's going better, and it's just going to get even better from now on.
And it's also one of the things that's one of the reasons why I'm so vocal about getting help, so asking questions. There are no stupid questions. So just if you feel weird or bad or whatever, if you feel like you can't cope anymore, you definitely should reach out to help. It doesn't matter to whom, but don't stay silent because it's not helping.
Yes.
Um, moving to now. So, project manager, this is new.
Yes.
um, how is this different from everything else that you've done before? I was a project manager. So this is how I started my career. How do you like it? How is it different from marketing and economics?
Oh, from economics, absolutely. So different. But from marketing, given that I was an account manager, not that much. The biggest difference is maybe because with account manager, you had a client, and now I work for an association. So there's no more clients. We're all there. We have a goal, and we're going towards that. It is very much rewarding, and I like the whole idea of, you're working towards something. You're not working for the client, but basically you're working, well, also not for yourself, for your own satisfaction, but, for a greater good. In my case, I work with doctors who then do everything they can to improve the lives of their patients. So this is how I look at it. Everything that I do, all the new things that I learn, they're not just for my enrichment of, me getting more resilient, but actually for helping somebody else, being more altruistic.
Yeah, that's a good point, I think. Um, we're closing in slowly.
Oh,
So what are, it goes fast, right?
yeah.
What would be, key lessons that you could point out, that you've learned about starting over in a new country? So you've mentioned a little bit of professional, but also private ones. But what would be like two key lessons that you've learned?
Um, be yourself. There's no point in changing who you are to fit in. It's better to be yourself and finding people who will be next to you, who can, who you can resonate with, rather than pretending that you're somebody that you're not. And this works also for the professional life, because if you do something well, and you did it as like this alter ego that you created, will you feel happy and fulfilled? Will you feel like it's been worth it? Or no? I would always say, find the people that are right for you, find the job that is right for you, and whatever you do, whether it ends up being good or bad, at least it's, because of you, and not because somebody told you that you need to be like this, and then you blame somebody else. You can either, root for yourself or blame yourself, and in the end, you're going to learn from yourself and not from, some alter ego, whatnot.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And the last closing one, I think that the answer, if you are in between thoughts, whether you should move to a new country or not, starting from scratch, is it a yes or no?
Oh yes, it will make so much. You will become a new like you would. become a better person of yourself. It's like going to the gym or going to Pilates, and then afterwards you realize that you had these muscles that you never knew existed. It's the same as when you move somewhere, you realize all the resilience that you have, all the ways that you can adapt and that you can solve problems, and so much more that you just never needed to use because you were in this comfortable little bubble in your little town, even if it's a big town.
You know everything and everybody.
Yes, and everything is nice and comfortable, and then you go out and you feel like, oh my god, I have so many skills that I just didn't use because I didn't have to, and now I'm nice and comfortable here. Doesn't mean that I'm going to move, but you will get there eventually, and you're going to end up with so much more under your belt than before.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. My answer would be yes as well. Just do it, and you can always go back if you don't
Yes,
like it. So,
yes, exactly.
Isidora, thank you so much for being my guest. It was lovely chatting to you. I think that this is going to be a very insightful episode, and of course, hope to see you again soon. Wishing you a great time in Brussels.
Thank you, and let me know when you come to Brussels.